Hi, my name is Isabella, and today I will be talking about disaster management in New Zealand. So it begins doesn't begin, but my presentation begins in the 1990s with the Ruapehu volcanic eruptions, which exposed gaps in communication. Basically, from a lack of communication, information and knowledge wasn't dispersed in a timely manner, which resulted in delayed response. So, in response to that, in 2002, the Civil Defense Emergency Management Act was created. This emphasized productivity, and the 4 R's framework of reduction, readiness, response, and recovery. Sorry. They also developed the Coordinated Incident Management System, which was adopted from the US and really gave roles and power to local authority, which really all comes to the point of just empowering community response because they really believe that the people that are on the floor and are experiencing disasters are the best people to respond to them. If you couldn't tell, they have more of a bottom up implementation strategy. However, with larger scale disasters and emergencies, top down agencies are helpful. The CDM Act gives primary authorities to local agencies, and they use a lot of indigenous practices to respond and recover from their natural disasters. So, New Zealand is prone to a lot of natural disasters because of its location in the Pacific Ring of Fire between the Australian and Pacific tectonic plates. That leads to tectonic disasters, volcano eruptions, earthquakes, and because it is an island, they experience flooding, tsunamis, coastal storms, landslides, droughts, etc. Um, but they have prepared for these by using the all hazards, all risk framework, being prepared for all hazards because they pose the same um, threat regardless of the complexity. If it is a risk, it is still a risk, and that is the framework they use. These CDM groups are also regionalized and specific, which is more helpful because in the North Island they're more prone to tectonic disasters versus in the South Island, which is more prone to severe weathers. These are all the participants of New Zealand's disaster management system. Um, they have local CDM groups. They have the military, which is the New Zealand Defence Force. They have emergency services, which is police, firemen, stuff like that. Non-governmental organizations and volunteers. This includes like New Zealand Red Cross, St. John's, um, a lot of recovery and response organizations and indigenous partners, but the NEMA, National Emergency Management Agency, is the lead when there is larger scale and bigger disasters and emergencies. Obstacles that New Zealand faces is poor communication across different agencies since they accept and allow so much help. Sometimes it is hard to disperse knowledge and make sure that every group is informed correctly and adequately. Limited resources. NEMA has experienced limited staff that do possess the correct expertise to face these kinds of disasters. Failure in warning systems when there's widespread power outages and stuff like that. It has shown to be not helpful because people aren't getting the warning systems that they need in time, so they can't evacuate in time and are not safe. Climate change poses to be an evolving threat. As climate change becomes a worse problem, then New Zealand will have to evolve their strategies and such to accommodate to that. Inconsistent inclusion of Indigenous knowledge. There was a problem with excluding Indigenous people and leaving them to fend for themselves. So, if they were more inclusive, then the indigenous and the rest of the community can become one and be more resilient together, ditching the separation idea. So, quickly, policy today. The 2010-11 earthquakes emphasized inclusivity and community-led recovery. They tried a top-down approach more, and New Zealand realized that that was not the correct system for their country. In 2023, Cyclone Gabrielle really emphasized the need for disaster resilient infrastructure, which they are working on now to be more prepared in case another terrible storm like Cyclone Gabrielle was to come back. And their policy today was really just influence on the 4Rs framework of reduction, readiness, response, and recovery, where they are proactive and productive in preparing for natural disasters instead of just reacting to them when they happen. Thank you.